pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, please be with us today as we consider the city's business. I just pray that you keep our staff and police safe today as they work. And, just guide us now, and in your name we pray. Amen. Before we approve the agenda, I would like a second. I'd like to make a motion to move the two temporary note items into new business so we can discuss those.
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda is approved with moving those two items into new business, and they'll be like 0.1 and 0.2. Item D, citizens' comments. Usually at the noon meetings, there are a lot of people here that want to comment, but if you're here and you'd like to have 3 minutes to speak, now's your chance. No open citizen comments. Seeing none, it's like the wind blowing through here right now. We'll close citizen comments, move into item E. This time I'd like to give the council members an opportunity to declare any conflicts of communication you might have. No, so we're good on that. We have no appointments, proclamations or recognitions, nominations, and that moves us to item H.01, temporary note sales and series.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, we're expecting our financial advisor Brett Schoger to be here with Stifel Public Finance. He might be running just a touch behind. I can deliver some good news. He informed us this morning that on these two temporary notes, he, along with our bond counsel and the diligent work of our Chief Financial Officer Brooke Carroll, we were able to secure a 2.83% interest rate on about $40 million worth of temp notes, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's it's almost half of what we were estimating when we looked at these projects. When you think about the city at large projects, about 19 million of them, it's a big difference on the annual debt service requirements when you estimate, a 4.5%, 5% interest rate, and you come home with the 2.83%. So I had the pleasure of sitting in on the rating call with S&P Global. I think that Brooke specifically did a phenomenal job putting together some additional material that we don't typically have during those rating calls, talking about our community's growth, some of the different contexts that's occurring here. And one of the compliments that we received, at least we took it as a compliment, was that they say they don't see communities growing like this except for suburbs of Dallas, Texas, which I thought that was pretty cool, because I think there's that's a pretty neat comparison, so to speak. With that, we would just ask if the council has any questions. I know Kevin or Brooke could help. I don't think Brett is here, so if you have questions, feel free to ask. Brett will answer those. Other than that, we would just ask that you approve the items that were presented in the consent agenda. So with that, I'll step away and let you guys ask any questions you might have.
Sorry, Mike. No.
That's perfect timing.
Perfect time.
I'll just reiterate, I'm sure Craig shared that we had great results this morning. 3 bids for both issuances. All 3 underwriters bid on both. 283 true interest costs. So great results.
That's really good. And just for everyone, note 3 was for the
city at large projects.
City at large projects, and note 4 was for the subdivisions infrastructure. So.
Yeah, there was I think 5 subdivision projects.
And, no, that's good. And hopefully, when we get done with finalizing the building, Public Works building, the park, and water looping in, the actual cost of those things will be less than our temporary notes. And I think we've been a little high, but that gives us plenty of room in case we end up going over. So another great day in Goddard. And so, in terms of approving this, we need a motion and a second to approve the,
Go ahead.
go ahead, I was gonna do that. Roll call vote,
Kevin Cowan, Fund
Yeah,
Council.
yes.
One thing I wanted to mention, when you look at these numbers of winning bids, the coupon rate is 5%, and you might say, well, wait, they talked about 2.8. The bids each have a large amount of premium, so they want to give you more cash to be able to have a higher coupon. It makes, and Brett, correct me if I say something wrong here, easier to sell if it has 5%, but because they've given you the extra cash, the premium, you borrow less principal, so it's now, $1 million, $3 million or less principal in each of these issues that you have to borrow, and you'll pay a little higher interest rate, but the combination means your effective borrowing cost is 2.8. So in terms of formal action, there's a resolution for each of the notes, so you'll approve a resolution. That resolution approves the winning bid and dropping that, winning bid 5%, all the premium, the details into the document, and authorizes the execution of all the other closing documents. So just single action on each of two resolutions.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt I'll make the motion to adopt the note resolution authorizing the directing issuance of a temporary note series 2025-3, City of Goddard.
I second.
I made the motion, Krista seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Table's kind of tilted here with these two guys missing today. Next.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the execution of the closing documents for Julia Temporary Note Sale Series 2025-3 resolution.
2024.
2054 resolution.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving along.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, I am pinch hitting for our Deputy City Administrator Ryan Schrack, who's home with one of his sick children today. So I'm happy to fill in on his behalf. So this is a great day to be in Goddard for a lot of reasons, this agenda item being one of them. There's folks that are here in the audience that, along with Ryan and other members of our team and our consultants who have put forth a lot of effort to get to this point. So as you guys know, with well, I'll say the newly seated council majority that we had come in beginning in 2024, during our annual goals and strategic planning, it was made clear that we wanted to respond to our citizens' call for more dine-in restaurant opportunities. And so staff made the governing body aware of how we thought that we could accomplish that goal and answer our citizens' call. And that being making a good incentive package to help attract those opportunities. So this one is for Tacos TJ 664, which currently have 2 restaurants in the Wichita area. I think they just opened one in Derby maybe a week or 2 ago. They're in the process of closing on some land west of Dairy Queen, and they plan on constructing a new 6,500 square foot restaurant in our wonderful community beginning sometime in early 2026. As you saw in the materials in your agenda packet, the total valuation for this project is about $4 million. We started meeting with the ownership group, the realtor, and others about a year ago, if not more. And it was through that process that we availed to them the incentives that could help them bring this project to our community. So here's a look at the preliminary site plan. You can see to the right there on the right side of the page where Dairy Queen would be, US 54 at the top of the page. This lot's a little bit angular, obviously. You can see the 6,500 square foot restaurant space there, the parking, and there's a little grass area to the rear. here is some of the site renderings. Obviously, very beautiful elevations here. I believe that there are some design standard requirements in the Goddard Galleria edition that they'll have to adhere to, and I think they've done a great job of that with what they're presenting to us on these preliminary elevations here. Here's another angle. You can see they're going to have a nice outdoor dining area. So let's get into the contents of the development agreement. So there's a few items in here, all of these of which the council's aware of, again, dating back to a couple of years ago when we started talking about availing these incentives for dining and restaurant opportunities. There's the industrial revenue bond, which provides a sales tax exemption on cost of construction and the 10-year property tax abatement. Of course, that excludes the capital outlay mill levies that are protected by state statute that go towards Goddard USD 265. We're looking at about 3 cents of add-on retailer sales tax, the 1% through the Transportation Development District, which will be collected at point of sale, and then it'll go to the state and then to the city, where it'll be in an account and it'll be distributed to the owner to reimburse them for eligible costs related to transportation, such as the parking, the stormwater in the parking lot, the pavement markings, the curblets, signage, things of that nature, the concrete drives. That'll exist for up to 22 years. So, you know, as you guys know, dealing with streets and asphalt, every 5, 10 years, you got to go in there and resurface the lot and do the proper maintenance. They'll be able to utilize this funding for that purpose. The Community Improvement District is the other 2 cents that'll be collected at point of sale. It'll be for 22 years that's made available. For the first couple of years, that funding has to go towards paying down the STAR bond, but as you guys know, that should amortize probably not long after we anticipate this facility to open. So I would imagine they'll be able to benefit from this for around 20 years or so. And the CID eligible cost of reimbursement is very wide and open. Almost everything other than the land acquisition this can reimburse. So even some soft costs, ongoing operating costs, construction, all those types of things. So again, just like the TDD that'll be collected at point of sale, go to the state, come to the city, sit in an account, and they'll be reimbursed on an intermittent basis for those eligible costs, and then also agree to waive the city's portion of the building permit fee and then the associated tap fees. As you guys know, the IRB issuance, we're not out anything. Right now, that is an empty field that's providing absolutely no economic value to our community. Those property taxes do not exist today, so we're not out anything. But with the creation of this facility, we'll be generating economic value from day one through the sales tax that's collected there. And then after the 10 years, of course, we will receive property tax revenue from a building that's assessed at the commercial rate of 25%. And as well as the school district benefiting day one to those 8.5 capital outlay mills that they get. So I think that's all I want to mention. Credit to our bond counsel, Kevin Cowan, who constructed the development agreement with the assistance of our city attorney, Ryan Peck. Again, I want to thank our deputy city administrator, who led on behalf of the city, working with Tacos TJ 664. I do want to introduce you to Miguel Camacho and Edith Urias, who are here with us today in the crowd. I believe they are actually now residents of Goddard, and we're so excited about their investment in our community. Miguel, Edith, would you like to share anything with the city council?
Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Did you bring anything?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Miguel Camacho, and I'm here with my beautiful daughter, Priscilla. We started our business 8 years ago in a food truck, and we never imagined how we can grow up. And after a few years, we found the city of Wichita was really happy with us, and we were living in Mace, and too many times we were around here, and my wife told me, hey, I love Goddard, and this city looks really comfortable and looks a pretty place to raise our kids. Our youngest is in Amelia Elementary, in elementary, and my oldest is in intermediate, no, in middle school, in the Carter middle school. Yeah, just we moved probably like 6 months ago, and we were looking around some lands to try to build our restaurant here. But after Alex told us you have some incentives, we have to invest in big, because it's gonna be something amazing for us and something that we never imagined, to build a restaurant from the nothing, from the first time when we started, sorry,
No,
even
you're
my
fine,
English
this
is
is
not too
great.
bad, I'm talking too much.
That's
I
awesome.
remember the first time when I went to the store and we paid with coins. Our first order of meat and vegetables, we paid with coins. So, and right now we are talking about something so over $4 million. This is amazing for us. This is a dream, and we want to grow up. We know Goddard is gonna be a huge city, and we can see how this community is growing up so fast, and we want to be part of you, and we want to work together. And I want to let you know we are going to be here for you, because I know you are here for us. And thank you.
Thank you. Can't wait for the grand opening. I'm hungry already.
Mayor, Council, that's all that staff had to share. We'd be glad to answer any questions you guys have. And with that, you can also consider entertaining the recommendation that we put before you.
Any questions? Pretty straightforward. I'd like entertain a motion here.
I make a motion that we approve the development agreement with Tacos CJ.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate your commitment to the city of Goddard.
Thanks for choosing us.
Mayor, one quick afterthought. So there are going to be several action items still to come, but we obligated ourselves to go through the motion of approving those over the next several council meetings with the approval of the development agreement. So those come up a few more times, but again, we've obligated ourselves to making those approvals when they come before council. So thank you.
Community Development Director, Michael Scoggins, at the plate.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. This is item I2, cost participation language added to the city code. So you guys have seen this before, but the Planning Commission with the City Council discussed this item at the joint workshop on August 27th. Planning Commission approved this revision on September 8th, 7-0, to remove the language from the subdivision regulations. City Council approved the removal of the language on September 15th, and tonight they're considering adding additional language and modifications to the city code. So City Council is reviewing an ordinance adding the language of cost participation for infrastructure to the city code. City Council can choose to participate in cost oversights, which would be reflected in petitions. In the event the true and actual costs are less than anticipated, there is enough cost savings equal to or in excess of the city's obligation for oversights. The city will use the unspent proceeds to cover its obligation. This will be listed under the City Code, Chapter 1, Article 9, 1-907, oversights, infrastructure, and cost sharing. Financially, there will be a cost for the ordinance publication. If it is adopted, legally it's approved as a form, and it is recommended City Council both one, waive the reading of the ordinance, and then two, follow up with approve the changes to City Code contained in Chapter 1, Article 907. So, if you have any questions, we're here to answer them.
I make a motion to waive the reading of the ordinance.
I second.
Naomi's made the motion, Kristen made the motion to second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Waive the reading of the ordinance. I'll make a motion to approve the changes in the city code, change to Chapter 1, Article 907. Have a second?
Second.
Roll call on the vote.
Councilmember Hall,
Yes.
Councilmember Leonard,
Yes.
Mayor Lee,
Yes. Carries 3-2.
ordinance 1019.
10-19.
Thank you. This is item I3, letters of credit and their release addition to the city code. So once again, the Planning Commission with the City Council discussed this item in the joint workshop on August 27th. Planning Commission approved the revision on September 8th, 7-0, remove the language from the subdivision regulations. City Council approved the removal of language on September 15th tonight by considering adding additional language and modifications to the city code. City Council is reviewing an ordinance adding language and letters of credit to release the city code. Letters of credit will be fully released at 50% instead of 80%. This will be listed under the city code, chapter 1, article 9, 1-906, agreement upon deposit petitions guaranteeing installation of required improvements. Letter of credit amount shall continue to be 35% of total cost of improvements for that phase of the development. There will be a cost of the ordinance publication if it is adopted. Legally, it's approved as a form, and it is recommended that you vote one way to read the ordinance and then approve the changes to City of Goddard Code pertaining to chapter 1, article 906.
Make a motion to waive the reading of the ordinance.
A second.
All those in favor, in waiving the reading of the ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
I make a motion to approve the changes to the City of Goddard Code pertaining to chapter 1, article 906.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Hall,
Yes.
Councilmember Leonard,
Yes.
Mayor Lee,
Yes.
ordinance 1020.
1020, thank you.
Well on our way to 10:25. Okay, moving right along.
All right, more exciting news in the community of Goddard. I'm going to say it now before I forget, 'cause once I go through all this information, it will slip my feeble mind. I want to extend sincere gratitude to the Goddard Lions Club. Last Saturday, 8 volunteers with the Lions Club went to the existing North Park outbuilding and pulled lumber with which we intend to reuse in a very special way in this park. I'm super excited for their service activity. They're going to be back there again on the 27th doing some more of that. And the intention is to utilize that lumber to create some really cool thematic play elements in the grassy knoll area of the North Park. If any of you have been to the Gathering Place in Tulsa, they have like the volcano area and a couple of other really cool places where essentially it's just they've reused and reconditioned lumber to make some really neat amenities. And so we saw a keen opportunity to be able to partner with one of our community groups to do something very similar as that. And anytime you're making an investment like this, whenever you can partner up with a community group, I just think it makes it that much more special. So I want to thank those folks, the Goddard Lions Club President, Charlie Presnell, for working with me to set that opportunity up with them, and then for them to go out and do the 2 days of service. So with that, we got the North Park design and authorization to advertise for bid. So I'm going to kind of start it with the beginning with the end in mind here. So what we are hoping to achieve today is to get a thumbs up from council that, yeah, we're cool with this design. That way, here in a couple months, when we have construction documents ready, we don't have to be held up. We can go toward advertising this project for bid. So a little bit of a history lesson here. So the Goddard North Park first comes up as a priority in our community, I want to say in 2014, through that strategic planning document. It's about 5 years later that we actually see the city acquire land, bringing this project a little closer to reality. And then it's not until another 5 years that we go through the very important process of hiring a firm to lead a very thorough community engagement process. So our neighbors are the ones who are telling us what they would like to see in this park amenity. So we pretty much spent all of 2024 doing that. Surveys, going to several school district events, getting feedback from children, teachers, parents, members of the broader community during a couple open houses at the community center. And I'm very excited to share today that the design that you're going to see is very true to the vision that was given to us by our community. And at the end of 2024, council authorized soliciting a competitive request for qualifications. I think we had 6 firms that wanted to complete this design and construction service work. With us today is the selected firm. We have Matt Ham, who is a Goddard local. He is the principal in charge of this project from Shaper Architecture. We also have Jeff Best, who represents the civil engineering and landscape architecture side of things from his company Baughman. So they kind of teamed up together. So we have a contract with them. They've been working diligently with city staff. We've been meeting about every other week since the fall. And through that, as we continue to share with you guys, our intention is to deliver Phase 1A and Phase 1B in one initial construction phase to optimize sequencing, cost, logistics, and to deal with grant considerations. So we are nearing 100% design developments and getting ready to be to the point where we're ready to move to construction documents. So that's why we need council to say, yes, you guys are heading in the right direction. So as you guys know, with Phase 1A and 1B, you see that we've got several age-based play zones. There's about a 7,200 square foot outdoor pavilion, 1,500 square foot conditioned space with a rentable gathering room, and of course it includes all the site work. Then we got the recreation elements which are supported by the grant. And then there's an alternative bid item to restore and activate the pond with the walking path. So at this point, I want to turn it over to Matt Han and Jeff to go through some slides that they prepared for you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Crossett, and Mayor and Council. We're happy to be here. As he said, I'm Matt Ham with Schaefer Architecture. And this is Jeff Betts with Baughman. And I wanted to point out also that we have two other members of the team. We're also working with Basis Consulting Engineers, who is doing the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing on the project. And then Dudley Williams and Associates is doing the structural design on the park as well. So an all Wichita team, all relatively local team on this. And we're going to go to the next slide.
Right arrow on the clicker there.
Oh,
right here. Sorry,
excellent. Thank you. And I'm going to turn this over to Jeff. Jeff and his team at Baughman have been really in charge of the overall conversion of, as Craig had said, the master plan that was developed by PEC into converting that into something that is constructible and that utilizes all those components that were presented before in a way that can be built. So I'll let Jeff kind of go over the overall master plan, how it's turned into something that's workable, and then I'll cover the building and kind of what it means to.
Thanks, Matt. So where we started with this, obviously, is reviewing the initial master plan that y'all had. We wanted to stay true to that as we possibly could, but we needed to start looking at also building in some efficiencies and how we kind of got there. And I know you can't really see very much detail. We'll get into a larger, kind of larger plans on this real quick. But as you can tell, most of the components that we're talking about, Phase 1A on the left and Phase 1B, are in the same areas. The uses for those areas are the same as the original master plan. So not much has really changed fundamentally there. I'm going to take you through the second phase. So we have 1A, 1B, Phase 2, Phase kind of 3, if you will. So Phase 2, which would be a bit alternate, we wanted to also look at fixing the pond, getting in there, dredging that out, creating a pond that was sustainable over time. We are actually through a fair amount of design work on that. We do need to go through DWR because we've got some floodplain fill in there. We're going to correct some of the drainage because the water kind of gets out around it, and so we want to actually get it over the top of it. So there's a few things that we need to correct with that, and we'll be designing that out throughout, and then we'll be bidding that as an alternate. We think we're close, but we don't know if we can really get there right now with the budget. And then Phase 3, and I say Phase 3, there's maybe 3 and 4, we don't know that yet. Starts looking at that boathouse feature. Started thinking a little bit more about that, what the real need for that boathouse might be. And again, this is probably going to change by the time we get there, quite frankly, and that's okay. But there'd be a second building there, kind of with a dock. And then, of course, the stage just to the left of that. So everything's kind of in the same general areas that we talked about before, but that building has been split into basically 2 buildings with the space in between that actually kind of creates a really nice view shed kind of through to this large kind of iconic piece of play equipment. There we go. So Phase 1A, kind of the enlarged area plan. So we've got a new parking lot over to the west, and we're looking at how much of that would be paved, how much of it might be overflow with gravel. We're not sure yet because, again, we're going to have to get through the numbers, and it may be an alternate bid item in there just to make sure we get there. But we want to certainly have enough paved parking to satisfy the most daily traffic. Big Big coming in, then we service some food truck area. That could be for today, and it'll certainly be for tomorrow when we get to more events. Is there a laser on here?
Yes,
A
there is.
pointer? Now, which button is it?
I guess that green dot.
All right, I just want to make sure, because you start hitting buttons, you don't know what
Gotta
they
turn it
mean,
off.
you know? So, this is your overall playscape space. It's kind of divided into your toddlers. You got the 2 to 5, you got 2 to 12, and then you've got this large kind of iconic piece right here that we talked about. And it's built up on a berm, so we'll have ADA access coming around and then entering right here. So this is going to be about 4 feet higher than the grade around it. Obviously, you've got the walks coming in. This will tie into a bike path at some point in the future, so we're starting planning for that. That pavilion, the enclosed 1,500 event space, restrooms, is right here, and then the large shade structure, you can kind of see the outline of that hanging out over that. So we get really good shade. And we played a lot with the sun angles and kind of where to position things. So we played a lot with where this building was, which angle it was going to be at, which direction should this thing face, to try to really maximize how much shade and protection from wind we were getting. So this, kind of interestingly, lines up almost where the building is today. And that really wasn't on purpose, it just kind of happened to, happen like that. Then of course we've got the connection over to phase 1B. The interesting thing about this is we've got a second parking lot, which I'll show you in a second, but so people that are coming across, this will be a little low, you know that. And so it kind of starts grading up through this walkway, and then this is built up even higher, so you can start imagining how kind of grand that piece is really going to start feeling. And then 1B, again, same kind of location as it's always been. We want to look at the parking lot a little bit. I really have an issue with dead-end parking, so we want to kind of get a turnaround in there, because really anticipate this being used obviously for the dog park and the pickleball, but also eventually for the walking loop that goes around the pond. Matt, you want to talk a little bit about your construction?
Sure.
Okay, well now you've seen kind of the master plan there overall. Really excited about how it's all flowing together really well. Just got a great feel for that on the site. As far as the building is concerned, we've seen imagery from the master plan and how that building was originally planned, and we've tried to stick with that and convey a similar notion. What will happen in this new building we'll build a rectangular building. As Craig said, it will be conditioned, and it will probably be made out of a block material, something kind of that appears like stone, has a natural quality to it. And so I really think it's a cost-effective material, but it's also feels natural, and it will be durable. So we know it's going to be out here for a really long time. I'm sure the city doesn't want to paint it, so it's going to be a through and through color. And so we want it to feel like it was master plan, like it's kind of natural and like stone. So we'll go that direction with it. These two large openings here on the event center are going to be sectional doors. So they'll come up and they'll leave you a big 8-foot opening. So I can imagine if there's a family event in here, you have kids running around, running back and forth from inside and out through those large doors to get a slice of pizza or a drink. And then back out to the play area. So really, this is going to be a very active area with a lot of back and forth through this building. So it's very open. Then we'll have a space for a counter. There needs to be some place to serve, put that pizza box, because that's what it is. So we'll plan to have that. These other spaces will have unisex restrooms. And then we'll have some storage for the site. And this building will, in essence, be a hub for all the utilities for the site. So if you can imagine in the park, depending on how all things go, how much lighting we do, or where we might need power out by a particular piece of equipment, all that will come to this building and it will be housed in this space. So not only will it be a function of fun activities, but it'll be a function of usefulness for just utilities. So, and the big part is this large sheltered area that's all covered, and you'll see that here, probably in a better image. But this is a perspective of the building as it is currently designed. One thing you'll notice is that we've gone away from the wood design that was in the master plan, And that was intentional for a couple of reasons. Wood, the glue laminated structures that were planned, they look beautiful. But boy, that from personal experience, they are a maintenance issue. Constantly staining, constantly sealing, issues with exposure to the sun and UV. And that just generally cost. We're trying to make this park as good as we can make it and fit as much into it as we can in these first phases. So the pre-engineered building is the way to go on this. So we think we can capture the same kind of feeling with this structure. You can see that it's not a monoslope building and it's not just a plain old gable. It's got a break in the middle, and we are planning to have this be open at the top, so that will help both with letting some sun down in there while still providing shade, and also with some ventilation. So this should be a breezy space. This shouldn't be stagnant, and there's plenty of room for lots of play equipment. And we're still developing how all this works, but there'll probably be some level of lighting in here so that, you know, at dusk when the sun's going down, it glows, and you'll see it from Maple Street and from all around the park. It'll be a very fun space. Height-wise, we're about 13 feet at the eaves and about 23 feet up here. So it's a pretty big building. You can see the scale of the figures there. As far as the cost estimate is concerned, right now our base bid, and when we say base bid, this is the total project cost if we were to bid this or when we bid it. So that means all in, equipment, construction, all the soft costs like fees and the testing and all the things that go into that. That would be a one fixed cost of $4.1 million. And then we're showing on this lower one, we're showing a cost for if we were able to, it will be an add alternate in the design package, but we're trying to get the pond improvements in that as well. But that will be one that at bid day we'll have to decide whether that's something we can take or not. As far as the schedule is concerned, this is where we are currently. We're here in September. We're getting ready to roll into October, and that means we'll be transitioning from design development into construction documents, and through construction documents, some approvals with the city, of course, as this gets more developed, and then in November we'll be likely 100% complete. And tentatively right now, thinking we could bid this in December, and that's flexible. That's going to depend on a lot of factors that will be coming up shortly. So, any questions from council on this?
I want to share two things. One, you guys probably know this because you're involved in civic groups and you hear from our community quite a bit, but city staff are constantly refereeing the scheduling and folks who are vying for use of our rentable space, including our community center and our current pavilion. So one of the things I hadn't thought of too much until Matt was here sharing, but I'm so happy to have another rentable space available because we constantly have groups that are having it out over who gets the space and when, and so this will help alleviate some of that. And it'll be a very, very small bit of revenue generation for us to be able to rent that for private parties and other civic groups and the like. And I also wanted to mention every single piece of that play equipment were pieces of play equipment that were hand selected by the Ad Hoc North Park Committee, and we made those choices based off of our field trips that we went on. If you remember in 2024, we loaded up in a bus and went and looked at like every beautiful park in the KC area. Some of us went down to Tulsa again to see the Gathering Place. I've gone to parks in South Dakota, Storytime Village. I went to Skunk Run Park in Iowa. So we like handpicked all of this stuff, and the committee picked those pieces, and we were able to deliver that palette of play equipment. So for all the stuff you see for the different age groups in there, those are all hand selected. So I thought that was pretty cool that we were able to keep those in there. But anyway.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to be here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We know Brent, I feel sorry for him because he's been instrumental over the 8 years. This is something that he's worked for. And just kind of wish he was here to be able to vote on this today, but work calls.
Mayor, I want to go through some contingency type things that we are currently working through because it's important, right? There's a little bit of ambiguity around a couple of these things, whether it's budget or timeline and grant. So definitely want to save time for all the questions. We want your feedback. So right now where we're at, you saw the numbers from Matt. We're about 4.1 million. That is way under budget, which is obviously a really good thing, right? I don't know how many communities can say that they're consistently delivering capital projects under budget. We're on pace to do that for North Park as well as the Public Works facility. With that, our temporary note associated with this project, we borrowed $5.9 million for all construction related activity and consultant fees and permitting. The only thing that exclude is capitalized interest, which we also borrowed for that. So really the overall size of the temp note is $6 million and some change, maybe 6.2, 6.3. I can't remember the exact amount. The reason we borrowed 5.9 is because we intended around a budget of actual city at large funds of around $5 million, but we needed to have $440,000 in the bank for the grant because it's a dollar for dollar match reimbursement. You got to start with the money and then they pay you back. And then we wanted about $500,000 of room for funds that we are attempting to raise through naming rights for the park itself and then the different play areas. So we intend to spend no more public funds that wouldn't be reimbursed by grant or sponsorship dollars, no more than the $5 million. Right now we're at 4.1, which is phenomenal. What that does is it gives us an opportunity to advertise this for bid with the base bid as well as the ad alternate for the pond. So when we go out to bid, we're going to get costs for all that. If it comes back and it's around that 5.4, 5.5 million, I think we'll have a really tough choice to make if we want to try to deliver the pond with the initial phase of construction. I think we need to make every effort to do that if we can afford it. We'll have to work through that process when we get those costs. Reason being is it's a lot more difficult to go back in and encumber that type of heavy construction next to a beautiful park amenity if we're wanting to do it a few years down the road. It's not impossible, but it can be done. It's also a little bit of a public safety thing when you got kind of a mucky park back there and it's not, been rejuvenated and you don't have the walking path and open lines of sight and those kinds of things. We don't really get a lot of smell off of that pond, so I'm not really that concerned about that, but at some point that could become an issue. So the goal would be to deliver this all together, and that number that I'm, trying to hit is actual city funds around $5 million. Keep in mind we've got about $900,000 there that we're anticipating for raised funds. So let's set budget aside for a second. Let's talk about the grant. The design team and our CFO Brooke and I, we met with KDWP, Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks, yesterday, and we're trying to figure out, we're going to submit an amendment to them because the grant is only for that phase 1B, right, that northeast corner of the park, and there's about $850,000 that were in that grant application budget. It's a dollar for dollar match. The grant's about 440, so 440 times 2, 880. The way the grant application was written is that we have to expend those funds on costs only in that northeast area, and it would be much more efficient use of not only our taxpayer dollars but the federal government's to be able to spread that grant across both phase 1A and 1B. Otherwise, we're going to be trying to find upgrades in that northeast corner so we can fully maximize the matching funds that we get from that grant. We would much rather be able to spread that across the full site. So we're going to submit an amendment to them asking if we could spread that across phase 1A, 1B. You may be wondering, well, why didn't we do that originally? At the time, we were advised by the folks that we were working with and the grantors that they were looking to fund specifically these types of projects, which are those that were in the northeast corner. After our meeting yesterday, which Jeff was on the call as well as Brooke again, maybe they disagree, but it felt like they were encouraging us to submit an amendment and that there would be some flexibility to get these costs spread. They didn't want to fund the pond because we're going to be fishing and stuff out like that, and that creates extra bureaucracy. There's also made mention that there's the possibility of some added funding, but that is far and away from a guarantee. You know, anytime you say that to me, I'm ready to get yanking on the chain and go after it. So I'm going to be working on drawing up that amendment this week. Matt's already sent me over these updated budgetary funds to submit to the state. I really like the guy who we're working with over there. He seems very reasonable, flexible, helpful. So the risk is that in that timeline, it could get pushed out maybe closer towards spring of 2026 as we wait to see if they're going to approve the amendment or grant additional funding. You know, the more I thought about it, we've been waiting on this park for 10 years, so what's another few months? Why stumble out of the starting blocks? Why not be patient? Let's make sure the design is perfect while we wait on maybe the additional funds or to be able to be more efficient with the grant use. That gives us more time to, you know, pick out the color of the carpet, or we want the tulips, you know, what are these turpin sets going to look like? I think it's very important that this is a grand slam, and so if we need to take a little extra time to do that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. There's not going to be that much construction activity going on in December through February anyway. So, and with the fluidity of the budget that we discussed, you know, we got to work through some of that ambiguity. So we will continue to over-communicate with council as those conversations evolve with both the grantor, with the design, with the budget, all those types of things. So thought it was important to share that and then open it up for questions for you guys.
So if we go ahead and wait, does that just kind of push that calendar back incrementally, or are we going to go ahead and pages here?
Are you asking if we still would like the recommendation?
Yeah, well, but just what, I mean, they're going to continue to work on this like they're going to start in January. I mean, we're not slowing them down, are we?
No, I think either way would be fine. If you guys want another checkpoint, let's just table this. I think as far as the timeline is concerned, based on our meeting with KDWP yesterday, you know, it's a matter of months, not weeks, as far as getting that amendment approved. We do have a little bit of a leg up because the archaeological and some of the other things that they required, the survey and stuff. We didn't just do the northeast site. We did the whole park ground, so that should speed things up a bit for their review, but it's federal government we're talking about here, so it could take a little bit of time. Our thought yesterday was let's submit the amendment, and if we get to the turn of the year and it feels like, you know, hey, there's really no end in sight, you know, maybe we just continue to move forward and we're only able to use $250,000 of the grant instead of $440. I mean, that's worst case scenario. But I felt like after our meeting yesterday that there's a strong opportunity that we can spread that grant more efficiently and maybe even get some more money. So I think it's worth the wait.
You didn't answer my question.
Well, I didn't.
I mean, are we okay? Are we okay with going ahead on the schedule with that information? And so, I mean, if we approve the schedule and we get down to the end of November and we get answers from them, yea or nay, we're not slowing this up another 90 days by just kind of waiting.
I'm not asking council to approve the schedule. All I would like you guys to do is tell us that you are good with the design as presented. The other item was we were going to ask you to authorize us to begin advertising this for bid once construction documents are done. That one you could consider tabling as we get a little bit more clarity on some of the ambiguous items. We're not asking for you to approve the schedule.
Yeah, I know, but if we, I guess what I'm thinking is we need to kind of try to keep the project moving on that schedule with this in mind. So I know we're not approving the schedule, but I don't want any action today to slow the process down.
I don't believe that anything you guys do would slow us down at all.
Actually, that probably didn't surprise me.
You're talking to the most aggressive city administrator that you may come across. So if I'm telling you that we can take the extra time, you can rest easy that everything will be good. You know I'm always pushing. So
ABC.
that's right.
Thoughts from Katie?
It's more thought out, I appreciate all the extra thought. It's kind of always amazing when you listen to engineers talk about design and figure out this and that. So I thought it's more thought out, I appreciate that. It's gonna be awesome.
I like the turnaround option too, because that is so nerve wracking to be in a parking lot and be stuck. So thanks for doing that. What's the motion?
At this point, we would just ask for consensus that you guys are good with us advancing to the construction document. I don't even really need a motion for that. I think we'll come back to you in a few weeks or months and ask for the authorization to advertise for bid.
My only comment is on this is just, I know these things are so preliminary, but on the parking lot on the west side, I'd be sure that the overflow, and the grass overflow, be on the west end of the parking lot, and at the entrance. So the entrance you move the entrance to the east, so you come in and what's paved from the entrance to the pavilion's paved, and then the overflow and the grass overflow be to the west. That's just a minor thing. So you're not sitting in the pavilion and having gravel overflow right up next to the pavilion in the walkway. That's the only thing I thought of. And I'm not an engineer, I'm just a
Mayor, what do you
retired
think?
guy.
What should we put right there? Any ideas?
I think we should put a windmill.
That is a great idea. We have a windmill on this site. We could pay homage to that.
Well, the city of Goddard used to have the windmill on Main Street, and I know what you're gunning for, and I beat you to that. So, no, I think a statue of a windmill. No statues of.
The mayor?
No.
I like the window.
I talked to you guys a bit about the history of this site. So with the grant, we had to do some real historic digging, and a historian from, I think, the school in Lawrence, he's from there. They came out and did some surveying, and a family called the Holm family, they had a farmstead there in the mid to late 1800s. And that windmill was manufactured by a company in Hutchinson, Kansas in the early 1900s. They think before 1910. So that windmill has been there for well over 100 years. It would be awesome if we could find a way to relocate that maybe to that area and then stabilize it within that little grass pad, just to kind of pay homage not only to the windmill that used to be downtown, but also the one that's been there for 125 years. So, guys, did you want to share anything else with the council while we have you here?
Go windmill hunting.
I think that's a great idea, by the way, put the windmill there.
Used to make a company in Fairbury, Nebraska. My uncle lived there. We'd always look for the Fairbury windmills.
The only thing is you have to name it. You have to name the windmill ones.
We'll figure that one out when we cross that bridge. Just remind us, man.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
That was my mom's day.
Thank you, guys. We got our marching orders, and the further we go along with this process, the more clarity we'll have on a few of those items. So I'll make sure I keep you guys up to date as through our traditional means of communication. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. We'll move on to item 5. You got 5 minutes to do 2 items.
all right, Mr. Mayor, I'll try to have some brevity here. So We got a land purchase option on some ground northeast of town. There's 140 million gallons worth of water rights there. We've got to exercise that option of purchase by the end of 2027. So we're going to be working feverishly over the next 2 years to get through the permitting and approval process with the Division of Water Resources and the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. We'd like to bring in the big guns, Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company. They've got a few folks in the Wichita area who specialize in hydrology, as well as dealing with the process of permitting with KDHE and DWR. So there's a contract in your agenda packet. We sent this out as an addendum yesterday afternoon. It's a not to exceed $25,000 for them to work through the process of drilling the test well, getting the samples, submitting the applications, dealing with all the environmental study, basically getting us to the point where we get sign off from KDHE. Then we'll exercise the option to purchase that land, and we'll have about 5 years at most to drill the well. So we may have an addition to the CIP at some point around 2030, 2031 if we can get to that point. 137 million gallons indicated by the, what color do you think that is, Mayor? I'm not even going to try. But 137 million gallons up there northeast of town. You can see some property we recently annexed right there. And then, of course, this is in the city of Wichita. It's pending final legal review, so Ryan sent his comments over yesterday evening. So just a couple of P's and Q's there. I don't think it's going to be anything to hold this up. We wanted to go ahead and get authorization from council pending final legal review. If for some reason we get to an impasse on those really small clerical things, we'll bring it back to you guys. But the agenda for the Monday meeting and council meeting is getting pretty lengthy, so we're trying to push some of this stuff onto this meeting, including this agenda item. But they are going through the motions of this process already anyway, so we need to get a contract with them. Questions?
Just a comment, when we get this done, we'll have access to 536 million gallons of water. And that's quite a change from when we started, the first January, when we started the year 24. We had access to 320 million gallons. So nobody should go thirsty in Goddard for a long, long time.
One thing I might mention is because of where this well site is, it's very possible that when we mix this water with ours, that we reduce the hardness level of our water. So it may be a little less necessary to look at a treatment plant. That's one thing I'm really anxious to see when we bring this water online. Lots of other communities have had that effect when they found new well sites in other areas of their community, and they blended it with their current water and improved the water quality. So let's hope that that's the first that we get everything approved, and that's a aspect of this that maybe we didn't think about a lot as we started down this road. Mayor mentioned we're in such a better place than we were 2 years ago, and that's not without extensive effort of our legal team, Morris Lang, as well as our city engineer, Harlan Foraker. I can't tell you how many meetings, phone calls, paperwork. It's been a challenge to work through all of these entities and these processes to get to this point. So there's been a lot going on in the background to make this achievement. So appreciate you guys, Ryan and Harlan, for what you did to help us along.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor or city staff to execute the AE2 owner agreement with Burns and McDonnell, including task order 1, scope of services, and rate sheet for the amount not to exceed $25,000, pending final legal review.
A second.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Got 15 seconds.
I
can do it.
He can do it.
Just looking for a motion a second. This is I-6 Prairie Travelers Commission for annexation and effectuating ordinance. So city staff's been working with the Prairie Travelers for annexing certain tracts of land to the corporate city limits. This will allow the city to partner with the Prairie Travelers to manage trails that comes to Goddard more effectively into the future. Petition for annexation is included in the packet along with the ordinance that this council agrees to the annexation as well as a map showing which portions of the trail will be annexed. So city council has reviewed a petition and ordinance for annexing portions of the Prairie Travelers Sunset Trail into the city limits of Goddard. And the yellow kind of got washed out, but this is our new city limits. And then green would be the portions that we're annexing into the city limits. Obviously, linear trail is already in the city. It's just this portion from 167 and then about a half mile past 215. There will be a cost for the ordinance publication if adopted. KSA 12-520A7 allows for annexation of one of the land consents to annexation of land towards the city limits. It is recommended to both one, waive the reading of the ordinance and two, approve the adoption of the ordinance annexation portions of the Prairie Sunset Trail in accordance with city limits with a motion and second. Voice roll call.
No questions?
Questions, no questions?
I make a motion that we waive the reading of the ordinance.
I second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I make a motion to approve the adoption of the ordinance annexing portions of the Prairie Sunset Trail into the corporate city limits.
Second.
Roll call. Christie made the motion.
Yes.
Councilmember Leonard,
Yes.
Mayor Lee,
Yes.
that was an ordinance.
Yes.
1021.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the desk? He's waving his times.
Waving my flag.
Thank you, Tacos TJ, for sharing your story with us and for coming to Goddard, and welcome. We're excited to have you. And for the Goddard Lions Club and their service activity toward our North Park. Again, it's good to see our civic groups working amongst us and helping to build our community. And yeah, a lot of exciting things happening. So thank you, city staff, and Kevin and Brett. Thanks.
I mean, I've said it a couple times, it is a good day to be in Goddard today, so lots of exciting things. I love that Miguel, Priscilla came and shared their story. That was very touching. I love that they moved to Goddard, and so pretty exciting. They chose us. The North Park, exciting time also. Love that that's starting to come to fruition. It's always great to come in at the last minute and say that. I haven't done anything for it, but there's a lot of people that did a lot of hard work on that, so it's an exciting time, and so excited to see that start to be built here in the next year or so. And thanks city staff, Ryan, everybody, thanks for all the hard work that you do. I don't know how you do it all. Grateful. That's all.
Visions turn into reality.
Yes.
And keep saying that we can have nice things here in Goddard, and it takes time, energy, and effort, and planning, and a commitment to work together. I'm part of seeing it happen. So appreciate everybody's hard work, and we march on. I'll entertain a motion to
I make a motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.